Hey everybody, I'm going to make a quick video here to explain how to use the new keyword extension capabilities in the newest build of 4coder. So basically, there's two things that I want to point out. First, what you need is I've created some new files that are slightly modified from the thing I actually released before. They're posted on the Patreon. If you want to make your life very easy to add keywords to C++, you want to download those files and put them in over your current files wherever you have your analogous files that were from the official build, and that'll get you part of the way there. So I'll show you what those new files are and what they do. Oops. The first one is, what's going on here? There we go. Must have hit the new key button accidentally. Or new file button instead of open. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is put in this new hooks file, which has this section right here that basically explicitly tests for various C++ file extensions and then activates the C++ language. Before, it was just if it didn't have this little bit of code here, so it was defaulting to the default language, which is also C++, but you can't modify the default one, so you have to make this basically includes C++ as an extension language and uses it instead of relying on the default one, so that the extension language can actually be modified from the custom code. Eventually I'll probably eliminate the idea of a built-in language entirely, but I'm not quite able to do that yet. So this is sort of the hack that makes that possible, which is to re-implement the C++ language in the new system while leaving the old system there and ignoring it. Okay, so that's what this file does for you. Is it sets up and runs the CPP language context, as you can see right here, and puts it onto any files with the appropriate extension. Now, if you come up here, you'll see there's this file, 4coder language CPP. Let's see if I can open that. There we go. And this just lists all of the keywords that you want in your basic C++ keyword detection. Now what you can do is, you see right here, it checks if there's a define for extra keywords, and if so, it includes the file that's defined by the define. So I'll show you how to do that. You can also do that for the preprocessor if you want to do something like extend the preprocessor to include things that are a little different than what normally are in there for some reason. I'm not sure why you would want to, but it's possible if you do. Okay, but for extra keywords, basically all you have to do is create a extension that's basically more code like this code here. So this psat stuff, which I forget what that even stands for. Parse string and type, I believe. Yeah, right here. Parse string and type. So the parse string is the first thing that you see, which is what you want the keyword to be. And the second thing is the type. And you can always just put token key other in here to get it to just color it as a keyword. The other keywords are mostly there for more complex parsing stuff that I do internally, so they don't matter as much. Control flow sometimes matters for things that do scope position detection and so on. But yeah, if you want, you can just put in other and it'll basically do everything you want it to do in 99.9% of cases, probably 100% of cases actually. But if you want to, you can try to classify it in more detail. That's an option too. And all you have to do is make a file that basically lists more psat stuff like this. I'll show you an example. In my languages folder, I have the Allen extension file, and it just lists a few more psat things. My defines for static here, and my built-in types. And you can see I didn't put in other, I put in linkage and type, but again, you could put in other, right? So then what I can do to get these keywords working in my Lexer, all I have to do is define extra keywords and then the name of this file, which is 4coder Allen extension.h. Alright, and now language CPP will pick that up and include it, and it'll automatically get built into the C++ language right here. Another option, if you want to do something a little fancier, is you can copy the C++ language file and include it here, and then go down here and put in the extension matching that you want for how to determine when to set parse context ID to the language context that you create in that file. So to do that, I would just say look at the pattern that these other language files follow and try to make something that follows the same pattern. And yeah, I'm not going to go into any more detail on it than that, just because I don't have it set up and ready to do something like that. Plus, I think the only real advantage of that is if you want to have multiple different configurations, you kind of need to do something like that. You could also modify this a little bit so that if you wanted to, you could make C++ with several different keyword combinations. So the way you would do that is, the problem is this thing right here just names the name of a context right here. But what you could imagine doing, and maybe the code I ship, I'll just say the code I ship will have this feature in it, because I just thought of it while I was making the video, is we could say if alternate name. So if we've defined an alternate name, we'll use that instead. Actually I'm not going to ship this, but you could imagine it. The reason I won't ship it is because you also have to change the name here, and all the code in here has to be changed. But you could imagine basically making, and the include guard would get messed up. But if you work on it a little bit, you could easily include the CPP file multiple times to get several variations of C++, if that's something you want. And it would look something like this. Maybe like a glue parse context language to the alternate name, and then all you have to do is define glue to do something like AB, glue underscore AB. And the reason I'm doing this is just to show you how, the preprocessor, if you just glue these right here, it would actually do parse context language underscore and then this string. It would literally be this, right? And so you actually want it to expand this macro first. So you pass it through one more layer, and that forces it to expand the macro, and then you can do that, right? So if you did something like this, you could then maybe make multiple C++ contexts with different custom keywords in it. But the code I'm shipping won't support that, just because it's a little bit of a mess, and the next version will have a better API to support this anyway. But it's an idea if you want to get something like that working ASAP. That's how I would recommend making it happen. Okay, so hopefully that helps everyone who's been looking forward to customizing keywords, and please feel free to continue to get in touch with me with more questions about this on the 4coder.handmade network forums, or at this email address right here, editor@4coder.net. If you have any more questions about 4coder or about the keyword stuff in particular, I'll be happy to continue helping, and bye-bye.